This story was crafted by our talented Revenge Tempest viewer Liam T. If you trust in your writing skills and imagination, leave a comment below. We'd love to connect with you and explore your creative potential. My name is Mara. He said I was just squatting, that I had no right to be there. She even stood outside with movers waiting for the court order to kick in. But I didn't pack, because I knew something she didn't. At the hearing, when the judge asked if I had anything to present, I handed over one flash drive. He played it on the courtroom screen, and my aunt never looked up again. My name is Mara Caldwell, a 34-year-old former logistics officer from Portland, Oregon, now facing eviction from the only home I've ever known, a craftsman house nestled in the city's quiet suburbs. Growing up, I was the odd one out, always lost in my grandfather's war stories, my dreams of structure and order dismissed by my parents, Ellen and Paul Caldwell, as impractical. My aunt, Evelyn Caldwell, the family's golden child with her real estate empire, became their pride, her every success celebrated. When I joined the army at 19, they called it a rebellion. 15 years later, after serving in supply chains across deserts and bases, I returned to care for my ailing grandfather, unaware of the trap awaiting me. My military career was a quiet strength. 15 years of service, rising to logistics officer, ensuring troops had what they needed in chaos. I managed convoys under fire, my ankles scarred from a supply-run ambush a silent badge of duty. I sent updates home, but received only sporadic replies, my parents' distance growing with each deployment. Evelyn thrived, her charm securing her as executor of my grandfather's estate after his stroke 2 years ago. I stayed away, my life a parallel path until his health declined. I returned on leave, moving into the house to nurse him, his gratitude a warmth my family never offered. His death 6 months ago left me in the house, a decision he'd hinted at but never formalized, or so I thought. The eviction attempt was a cold betrayal. I came home one evening to find Evelyn outside with movers, a court notice in her hand. "You're squatting," she said, her voice sharp. "You have no right to be here. Grandfather left it to me." The notice cited a will naming her sole heir, my name absent, the deed transferred to her name with 3 signatures I didn't recognize. My parents stood silently, my mother avoiding my gaze, my father muttering, "You were always gone." The movers waited, boxes stacked, but I refused to pack. The house, its oak floors, the porch where I'd listened to grandfather's tales, felt like mine, and I knew something Evelyn didn't. In his final days, he'd pressed a flash drive into my hand, whispering, "This is your proof, Mara. Keep it safe." I'd tucked it away, unsure of its contents, but now it felt like a lifeline. 3 days later, I reviewed the flash drive on my laptop, the motel room's dim light casting shadows. The file was a video, grandfather, frail but clear, recorded a week before his death. "To my family," he began, "I leave the house tomorrow, my rock." "Evelyn, you've twisted my words. The will you hold is fake." He detailed a trust splitting the estate, my share protected during deployments, a clause invalidated by fraud. 2 audio files followed, unit mates confirming my care for him, a notary's voice denying Evelyn's claims. My hands trembled. The evidence was a counter to her lies. I contacted Sergeant Jenna Hayes, a friend from my unit turned paralegal, who verified the video's timestamp and warned of Evelyn's legal clout. The revelation stirred a mix of grief and resolve. I'd cared for grandfather, his trust in me a bond Evelyn envied, and now she'd rewritten it with forged documents. I prepared to fight, my military discipline guiding me. That night I watched the video again, the rain outside mirroring my turmoil. The house loomed in my mind, not just a home but a legacy stolen. I called Jenna, arranging a deeper investigation, my voice steady despite the ache in my ankle. She cautioned, "Evelyn will use your absence and injury, gather more proof." The motel's sagging couch became my strategy center, the flash drive my weapon as I planned to turn her eviction into my victory. The next day I returned to the house under pretense, slipping into Evelyn's office while she met with her lawyer. The room smelled of her lavender scent, files stacked on her mahogany desk. I found a locked drawer, its key hidden under a ledger, a habit I recalled from childhood visits. Inside were bank statements showing diverted trust funds, a contract with a fixer named Victor Lang, and emails plotting my eviction with forged signatures. My name was erased, replaced with Evelyn's, the deception blatant. Footsteps approached and I hid as Evelyn entered, venting to her lawyer. "She's back, but we've got the upper hand," she said. "Leak her medical records if she fights." I escaped unnoticed, the documents tucked away, my resolve steeling. This wasn't about noise, it was about evidence, and I held the truth she couldn't bury. That evening I met Jenna at a diner, spreading the new findings. Her eyes narrowed. "This is gold. Fraud, forgery, the fixer. We'll build a case, but expect a battle." She suggested a forensic analyst to verify the documents, a move to strengthen our hand. The rain softened outside, a hint of calm before the legal storm. The house, with its creaking stairs and grandfather's chair, felt like a prize I'd reclaim with the flash drive's power, ready to shift the roles in that courtroom screen. The soft patter of rain against the motel window framed my reflection as I sat on the sagging couch. The flash drive from my grandfather and the pilfered documents from Evelyn's office spread across the worn coffee table. Mara Caldwell, once a logistics officer cast out by her family, now held the key to a legacy stolen through deceit. The video will, time-stamped audio files, and the original trust, contrasting Evelyn's forged deed, promised a reckoning, a fight to reclaim the recognition my 15 years of service had earned. The fixer's contract, bank statements, and emails hinting at a deeper conspiracy pointed to a battle beyond familial greed, a silent war to restore what was mine. Sergeant Jenna Hayes, my unit friend turned paralegal, was my strategist, her meticulous approach and military precision guiding me through this legal labyrinth, her presence a lifeline in the mounting tension. Jenna arrived that night, her laptop casting a faint glow as she unpacked forensic software, a recorder, and a stack of case law books. She analyzed the flash drive's contents with a soldier's focus, her brow furrowing with each frame. "This video is authentic. Your grandfather's voice matches old recordings from his veteran interviews," she said, her tone measured. "The audio files from your unit mates confirm your caregiving role, and the trust clause protects your share during deployments. Evelyn's deed is a forgery. Those signatures are sloppy, likely rushed by her fixer Victor Lang. The bank statements show trust funds diverted to a personal account she opened last year." My stomach tightened as the scope became clear. Evelyn's designer wardrobe, the house's new wing, all built on my erased inheritance. Jenna pointed to an email from Lang to Evelyn: "Remove Mara's claim, discredit her absence with medical leaks." The calculated threat fueled my resolve, sparking a quiet determination to turn their scheme against them. This was about reclaiming my identity, not just a house but the legacy and honor they'd denied. We devised a plan to fortify the case, targeting Evelyn's financial trail, Lang's role, and any additional evidence of manipulation. The next evening, I returned to the house during a neighborhood barbecue Evelyn hosted to flaunt her control, Jenna creating a diversion by triggering a power outage with a discrete circuit tweak. The guests' confused murmurs and flickering lights gave me cover as I slipped into her office, my limp slowing me but not halting my resolve. I accessed her safe, concealed behind a bookshelf, its combination her birth year, a detail I'd noted from a childhood argument. Inside were more emails with Lang, a detailed ledger of payments to offshore accounts, a second forged deed with my name obliterated, and a grainy video showing Lang pressuring a notary to alter documents. The evidence was a bombshell, each file a step toward dismantling their facade. My heart pounded as I transferred the data to a second flash drive, the risk of discovery amplifying the stakes, the distant laughter outside a surreal contrast to my covert mission. Footsteps echoed down the hall and I crouched behind the desk as Evelyn entered, her voice cutting through the dark. "She's poking around again," she said to someone on the phone, likely Lang. "Leak her injury records. Paint her as unstable, unfit to inherit. We'll push the eviction through tomorrow." Her companion, possibly her lawyer, responded, "We've got a backup. More pressure if she resists." I held my breath, the conversation confirming their collusion, and slipped out through a side window, the flash drive secure in my pocket, my resolve hardening into steel. The next day I met a forensic analyst, Claire Donovan, recommended by Jenna, in a sterile office downtown. She examined the documents under a magnifying glass, her expertise unraveling the fraud. "These signatures are traced, amateur work," she said. "The offshore accounts linked to a shell company Lang controls. We can freeze her assets with this." I handed the findings to Jenna, who coordinated with a military lawyer, Lieutenant Sarah Klein, at a secure meeting. Klein's eyes narrowed as she watched the notary video. "This is ironclad," she said. "We'll file for an injunction and subpoena Lang. But expect a character assault. Your deployments, your injury will be weaponized." She advised a low profile, a strategy that graded but safeguarded my case from premature leaks. Evelyn's retaliation struck with ferocity. Local news ran stories: squatter soldier fakes inheritance claim, with fabricated tales of my limp, my PTSD episodes post-ambush, my medical discharge, all sourced from an anonymous relative. My phone buzzed incessantly with hate messages, my past laid bare for public judgment, the sting echoing my family's early rejection. Jenna issued a cease and desist letter to the outlets, demanding retractions, but the psychological toll weighed heavily. I found solace with Dr. Rachel Patel, a veteran therapist and friend from my early tours, who met me at a secluded park bench. "This is their panic," she said, her voice calm amid the rustling trees. "Your silence is your strength. Let their noise collapse under its own weight." Her support steadied me, a reminder of the unit bonds I'd cherished, and we contacted former unit mates, Sergeant Omar from Iraq, Corporal Singh from Afghanistan, via encrypted calls. Their testimonies of my logistical genius, my calm under pressure, bolstered my credibility, each voice a cornerstone of my defense. The tension escalated when Evelyn confronted me at the motel, her lawyer looming beside her, his briefcase a symbol of their arrogance. "Sign this eviction waiver or we'll ruin you, your injury, your mental state all exposed," she demanded, slamming a document on the table. I refused, my fingers tightening around the flash drive, its edges worn from handling. "You can't rewrite the truth," I said, my voice steady despite the ache in my ankle. She snatched the paper back and stormed out, her heels a sharp retreat, but not before a burner phone slipped from her lawyer's coat, clattering to the floor. I retrieved it, a concrete link to their scheme, its screen flashing with recent calls. Jenna traced its number to Lang's network, confirming their conspiracy extended to a professional operation. With Dr. Patel's encouragement, I organized a clandestine rally for unit support via a video conference. Their recorded accounts, stories of my resourcefulness in supply shortages, my protection of convoys, strengthening my case. The fight was strategic, a reclaiming of my erased legacy through evidence, not emotion. That night, I reviewed the evidence under the motel's flickering bulb, the rain outside a steady drum to my planning. The motel, a temporary refuge with peeling paint and creaking floors, felt like a command post, its simplicity a stark contrast to the house's grandeur. Jenna's strategy included the hearing, a formal claim to the trust and preparation for the courtroom climax, but the threat of Evelyn's allies, Lang, the lawyer network, possibly my parents' tacit approval, loomed large, a shadow over my impending triumph. I prepared the flash drive, its contents now enriched with the safe's revelations, my weapon in this silent war. I wore my grandfather's dog tags, a keepsake from his service, their cold metal a talisman of my past as I readied myself to face the court. The betrayal had stripped me bare, exposing vulnerabilities I'd buried, but it also forged a new identity: soldier, heir, strategist. The next step was clear: present my evidence at the hearing and let the video shift the roles, step by step, building a future rooted in justice and earned recognition. The rain softened outside, a whisper of the calm before the legal storm. The rain tapped a gentle rhythm against the motel window as I stood before the chipped mirror, the flash drive in my hand, its weight a symbol of the truth I was about to unveil. Mara Caldwell, once a logistics officer cast out by her family, had turned 15 years of silent service into a legacy ready to reclaim its place. The evidence, Victor Lang's notary video, the forged deed, unit testimonies, had set the stage for a legal confrontation, while the burner phone's link to a fixer network suggested a deeper web of deceit. Evelyn's cold eviction attempt had wounded me, but it had also ignited an unyielding resolve. This was no longer just about keeping the house. It was about dismantling the lies that had erased me, restoring justice with the quiet power of proof. The next morning, I met Lieutenant Sarah Klein and Jenna at the courthouse, the air heavy with anticipation. Klein reviewed the evidence, her fingers pausing on the video timestamp. "This is rock solid," she said, her voice steady. Lang's confession, the forged signatures, the diverted funds. It's a clear case of fraud and conspiracy. The fixer network implies corporate involvement, but your flash drive will dismantle them. She outlined a strategy. Present the injunction, subpoena Lang and Evelyn's lawyer, and use the hearing to expose the manipulation publicly. They'll target your credibility, your absences, your injury, she warned. Stay focused. The thought of my limp and deployment gaps scrutinized in court sent a shiver through me, but Jenna gripped my shoulder. Your evidence will speak louder, she said. With Dr. Patel's guidance, we honed my approach, framing my silence as a testament to resilience, a narrative honoring soldiers overlooked like me. The hearing day arrived, a crucible of quiet tension and strategic resolve. Dr. Patel coached me relentlessly, her sessions blending emotional grounding with courtroom poise. They'll push for drama, she said. Counter with facts. I rehearsed my moment, the flash drive's contents. Video will, audio files, trust clause. Each a weapon against their narrative. The courtroom hummed with reporters and relatives. Evelyn in white, her smile a mask of triumph. My parents seated beside her, their faces impassive. I took the stand, my uniform pressed despite the ache in my ankle, my voice calm. My aunt forged my grandfather's will, claiming the house with fake signatures. I began, handing the flash drive to the judge. Evelyn's smirk faded as he inserted it, the screen flickering to life. The video played, grandfather's frail voice declaring, I leave the house tomorrow, my rock. Evelyn, your will is a lie. The room stilled, the truth a silent detonation. The turning point came when Lang was called. Under oath, he crumbled, admitting to forging documents for Evelyn, his network's ties to a real estate firm spilling out. Bribes, threats, a slush fund. The judge's gavel paused as bank records and emails emerged, linking Evelyn to the scheme. Her lawyer stammered a recess request, but the damage was irreversible. My single sentence, the proof is in his words, hung in the air, shattering their defense. The injunction was granted, the house and trust restored to me, Evelyn and her allies facing fraud charges. The bailiff picked up the phone, police summoned, and justice explosion unfolding as officers entered to arrest Lang and detain Evelyn pending investigation, her white suit a stark contrast to the cuffs. The aftermath was a swift shift. The house, once a battleground, became mine to reshape. I transformed its rooms into Caldwell Haven, a veteran support center in Portland, its spaces hosting rehab and job training. Dr. Patel led counseling, Jenna managed operations, and I oversaw it, my identity as heir and advocate solidifying. The opening day drew a crowd, veterans, families, a local news crew, celebrating resilience. I spoke. This is for those erased, for grandfather, for a future built on truth. Applause washed over me, a tide of recognition mending old wounds. Alone that night, I explored the attic, finding grandfather's service medals and a letter. Inside was a photo of us on the porch, a note. Mara, your strength is my legacy. They'll see it. The loss of his presence was replaced by rediscovery, tears falling as I traced his handwriting. I displayed it as a tribute. Evelyn wrote from custody, a shaky apology. I was wrong. Can we talk? The compassion surprised me, and though the past couldn't be undone, I sent a reply offering a cautious meeting. Reconciliation, a fragile hope. The center thrived, uniting communities, veterans with trainees, families with counselors. The fixer network dissolved, Lang's testimony unraveling their operations. I hired security, wary of lingering threats, but peace took root. One afternoon, sorting donations, I found my old officer's badge, proof of the rank my family ignored. It hung in the center, a symbol of transformation. The rain softened outside, a sign of calm as I planned Caldwell Shield, a fund for veteran housing rights. My journey from outcast to heir forged a new identity, and with my allies I turned their eviction into triumph, step by step, building a life of purpose and justice. This story was brought to life by our amazing community. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to Revenge Tempest, and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you.